I think that by doing this, they're at least vesting some more interest in their children's education and their children's development, so we should accommodate that. We should reward that. So, when we get in the Senate, after we've reintroduced House Bill 2767, we're going to draft up new bills to pass through the Senate to hopefully, at least in the state of Kansas, grant that tax credit in the interim while we're working on getting the state taxes eliminated. So unfortunately we won't be able to do much with the federal taxation, but I have a feeling that that may be on the way out anyway. Moving on to the third point of our platform, citizens' rights. This is another budget issue, and we were talking to some folks last night and they mentioned the difference between social conservatives and financial conservatives, but to me personally, they're really linked. They're one and the same if you ask me, because conservatism is a personal virtue. It's an individual thing. If you're conservative with your money, if you're conservative with your resources, then chances are you're not going to be involved in very many vices such as gambling, alcoholism, or addictions that'll take all of your money away from you. Financial conservatism, fiscal conservatism, is linked to all social conservative endeavors because, as Dr. Paul said to his opponent Rick Santorum in one debate, kind of caused an uproar or a little bit of an embarrassment for him. He has funded Planned Parenthood multiple times in the past by funding or by voting for bills that provided mass funding for healthcare programs and hospitals. We need to wrap it up.
I think so.
We've got some people wanting to use the facilities. All right. Well, citizens' rights is the last point in my platform, and basically where I'm going with this is that if we are obligated to our own citizens and if we have to take care of them, which I believe we do, we have to triage our efforts. I think that life is basically a process of realizing the limitations of what you can do and what's available, the limitations of the world and the limitations of your own abilities. I was trained in this somewhat while I was in the military. We triage victims whenever we encounter a situation where people are wounded, especially our own soldiers. You have to decide who can live through the situation if they get help. You have to decide what help you have available to give them. You have to decide who needs it the most, the fastest. Me personally, not being a medic, I would have to stop the bleeding. I'd have to tourniquet the limbs, try and keep that person alive as long as possible until someone else can get there and provide them the care they need. Same thing with our citizens. We're going to have to evaluate who needs the most help the fastest. Well, our senior citizens are going to need help. They have been basically deceived through most of their lives. They've paid into a system that's now insolvent that won't be able to take care of them. If they don't have families to take care of them, it's going to be very rough for them. And there's no guarantee that the federal government is going to come through with all of this aid that we're going to need. So, at a local level and at a state level, we're going to decide what to do. So, a lot of people are going to have to be kicked off the welfare system, and the place where I would start is non-citizens. And no offense to anybody for their background or their circumstances, but quite frankly, we have to take care of our own. So, with the limited funding that we have, we've got to decide where it can do the most good, how it can help the most people. So, we're going to bring back a amendment that Tim Huelskamp wrote in 2008. It was only a paragraph long, fairly straightforward and simple. Anybody can look it up. It was called the Huelskamp Amendment. And his only stipulations were that no state benefit programs, no state health care or hospital care other than emergency, and no welfare benefits of any kind or unemployment would be provided to non-citizens or illegal aliens. Now, people want to apply to come here and work, that would be fine, but in lean economic times, we have to be realistic. Most people who came here to work are already fleeing the country because there's no work to be done. Those who are staying are doing so because we still have a generous welfare state. So, If we can do that with the Huels Camp Amendment, that's what we're going to do. If not, then we're going to propose an amendment to the state constitution itself to define exactly what citizenship is in the state of Kansas, what benefits are attached, who can be applicable for those benefits. So if everyone approves of that, I think I'll close now with just thanking everybody for showing up and letting me run my mouth at you for a little while. Hopefully not too long. I don't want to hold up the event we've got coming in soon, so I guess we can all vacate and if you have any questions. Thank you for your time.
Good job. Hey, you got your email? You got an email address? Gave you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna email you that thing I wrote down.